What's up guys, it's Drac, and I have a really special vintage review for you. So sometimes these vintage reviews just fall into my lap, and this one came courtesy of my friend Chris, who is trying to grow his Instagram following. So I'm going to link that down in the description box below. It kind of showcases his adventures in Nerf, but let's focus on this really quick. This is the XXP-275. So it's the extra power, or the X triple X. Anyway, this is an old school Super Soaker, and it's one of the least ergonomic Super Soakers, but it's packed full of features. So first off, it came with a bandolier. That is important because it will get heavy. Now, this is the cap in the back, and it's a super high capacity. As we all know, water weighs about 8 pounds to the gallon, which means that this is going to be a pretty heavy Super Soaker. I don't know how much of this gallon of water it's going to take, but it should take a lot. Now, it says, prior to filling water into tank, pump handle 10 to 12 times to pre-charge the soaker, then fill the tank, then to pressurize, you use the pump handle to force water into the high pressure bottles up here, and then the pressure gauge will indicate when the Super Soaker is fully charged, and then you pull the level to shoot. So this forward, I think, is what fires. There's a grip back here, which is super awkward, crazy uncomfortable back here to hold. You kind of like hold it juggernaut mode, where this is back here, you tuck the tank into your armpit, and this comes up. There's really no way to like shoulder this, so you go from pumping here to pushing forward, and that's of course if you're right-handed, you want your dominant hand down here to support the weight. If you're left-handed, or if you just want to use your right hand to actuate the blaster up here. Now again, blaster is crazy old. If we flip it back over, you can see this is a Laramie Soaker. It's got its patent number, and it was made in '95. So if this blaster is older than you are, make sure that you smash that like button for me, because I have a funny feeling that it definitely is older than you guys are. So we'll remove this cap. You can see that there's even a little bit of warpage up here, and then the power gauge sticker inside this meter here is already starting to fall apart. The stickers surprisingly are in decent shape. I mean, they're pretty messed up, but you can still read them, which is more than most soakers get. So let's go ahead, open up our water. I did not know that this one was still completely sealed. And then we will see how much water this blaster will take. So I'm going to try and get most of it in here. And all we can do is hope that this blaster does not leak too terribly bad. Sometimes the older soakers will leak. I don't know. Wait and hope. All human wisdom is contained in these two words. I wonder if anybody will be able to tell me where that quote is from. I'll give you a hint. It's from my favorite book ever. Taking a ton of water. Ooh, and it's already starting to get heavier, guys. This is where I'm not cut out for food service. I could never do refills. I should have time-lapsed this, but I didn't, so it is what it is. Wow, the capacity on this is full primary class old school soaker. That is nuts. Outside of a backpack, I don't know how it gets much better than this. I think that almost a gallon is what this would have taken. I've spilled a little bit, but the gallon is almost empty, and we are finally full there, or about as full as we're going to get while still leaving some ability to pressurize. So super hot, super humid Georgia day, excellent for soaking. Let's go ahead and throw on our bandolier strap there and start pressurizing. So are we actually pressurizing these canisters? We are. That is next levels of cool. Whoop! Alright, well, you can see that we're slowly getting into that red gauge, and we've done it. We hit that OPRV. If you guys hear that, listen. That is the sound of an overpressure release valve, and we're putting major stress on the system, which is why it started to leak. Now, one cool feature about this is that it's going to shoot from the top nozzle, which means that right now they're both set to wide. flow shots. We can switch them if we wanted to super narrow beams, kind of a spritzer thing going on. This is similarly like that. It's like 6 small streams. Then we have a narrow single aperture, which I think this is like the high pressure sort of shot. That is how I would have wielded such a super soaker. So let's get back fully into the red. And then the really cool thing about this blaster board's target that I've set up is that it should give us an idea of the accuracy of this tank class soaker by shooting it. Since they're all plastic, it doesn't really matter if it gets wet, right guys? Ooh, and it totally opens up as you shoot it. So that's pretty accurate, pretty cool. We'll go ahead and reset that briefly. Back up to full power. Now because it's shooting from 2 at once, it is getting pretty wet pretty quickly, and I've busted a leak right here. You guys can't tell, I don't think, but it's misting out. So we better play fast. Super duper cool. Now once you've opened up that floodgate, you can keep it going by pumping continuously. That is a ton of water, guys. You can switch one off so that you have just one controlling your flow. This is the kind of super soaker that gets the operator wet as well. So that's a pretty strong stream right there. And then if we switch this over a couple more times, I think that we're in mist mode, and we might have actually just about run the tank dry. So a really cool look at a vintage soaker here, the XXP-275. Man, I bet this ruled back in '95. This would have been really cool. You'd have a crossbow in one hand and this guy slung over your shoulder, since again, like, ergonomically a nightmare. Very hard to hold like this. You're never gonna like pistol wield it, especially not with wet hands out there. But a really cool look at a blaster from the pastor. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I love doing vintage reviews. It's really cool to take a look at what toys used to do. And I mean, super soakers are of a unique case where they honestly have gotten worse over time. So like, old school super soakers are way better than modern super soakers, and this is no exception. This is much better than anything you could grab on the shelf at Toys R Us here in 2017. So thank you very much for watching. Much love. Soak on. Drac out.